Dear Tyler, good morning. And how are you doing? I really, really do hope you're fine. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. So, I have to apologize that I couldn't do this podcast as it was meant to be on. That was yesterday. So, I was awake as early as 4. I had some work to tidy up, and then I was on a journey. I got in. Journey took quite a while, and then somehow my phone battery died, so I couldn't actually do the podcast. They brought the light, or rather, they restored the light recently, and I was just exhausted, so I couldn't really get up on time to be able to do this. But anyway, this is like 3:27, and I also have a very, very long day, so I was like, let me just use this opportunity now and do the podcast, right? So thank you guys for hanging on with me, and yes, thank you so much for the feedback on the last podcast. I am okay. I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. It's a tough season, but yeah, God is faithful. God is helping us. Now, I really just felt it would be nice for me to, just to extract something from what I said the last episode. And I just felt like it's really, really important to just state it, or for us to rather discuss about it. So thus the title of this podcast, just give up, you won't win. And I think I've been realizing it recently, how before God, right, we're really just helpless. It's like outside of Him, we're helpless. So I got this concept from the story of Jacob, right? And so, Jacob had always been known as a supplanter. He always used to cheat his way through or deceive his way through certain situations and favors. And so, he deceived his brother Esau from the birthright, scammed his father, scammed his in-law, uncle, that's Laban, right? Scammed him using the reeds, right? The spotted reeds, and making the strong herd to meet in front of the spotted reed or something. And so somehow when their offspring came out, their offspring was spotted, so he always had the stronger ones. Now, after some time now, when he had, served his time for the daughters of Laban, he decided, to go back and meet his brother Esau. And, out of fear and everything, he told the caravan, separated it into 3, and told them to go ahead of him while he waits. Now, something happened to him when he left his father's house initially. He stumbled over a place and slept, and then he had an encounter with angels descending and ascending. So when he woke up, he was like, God was in this place and I knew not. So on his way back at that same place, he decided to have one more opportunity to encounter God, and that's where he had that wrestle with the angel. And they wrestled all night, and when it was morning, the angel was like, that he has to go and everything. And Jacob was like, I won't let you go until you bless me. And the angel dislocated something, his hip and everything, but eventually blessed him. Now, it's easy to, usually rather, it's if you take into account this whole story, like, so Jacob won because his name was changed to Israel, Prince of God, right? That you fought with God and you prevailed. Now, something happened to Jacob though, because when the hip was dislocated, he had to lean on something for the rest of his life, and that was a staff. If you read in Hebrews 11, you will see, and by faith Jacob prophesied over his children while leaning on his staff. Now, I spoke about our obsession for control, or rather my obsession for control, and how there's a possibility that it seeps into all of us as individuals, right? Where when we're not in charge, when we're not the one charting the course of our life, or being the in charge of determining our outcomes, it gets extremely scary. It makes us all fidgety. It makes us all, anxious. I think that's where anxiety comes in. It's nice to know. It's nice to know that you're in control. So it happens to me a lot. So the car at home, if I'm driving, like, I'm absolutely okay. But then if somebody else is driving the car that is not me or my brother, there's this anxiety that I just have. I'm like, okay. In fact, there are times when my brother is driving, I just look at him and I'm like, okay, what's he going to do at this point? Is he doing things properly? And I see it also in his eyes when I'm the one driving. It's like, okay, the way the guy is driving, is he, there's just this, like, okay, I would prefer to be the one holding the steering and everything, because I know myself in code, right? So, and I know what I'm capable of doing. I know how I calculate things. Do you understand? So it just gives us that sense of security. Especially if you're a driver and maybe you're traveling, public transport or traveling somewhere else. There's just like, you'd be like, if it was me, I would have done this, I would have done this, I would have done this. And, it just makes us very, very, anxious. Yes, I think that's just the word. There was this very big English word I was looking for. I can't find it. And when it comes to our destiny, sadly, we reflect that too. Oh, I want to be established on my own terms. I want to be financially free on my own terms. I want to do things on my own terms. And we literally get into a hassle with God. It's like we're fighting God consistently. And we're telling God, like, you could even make it into a prayer, my Lord and Heavenly Father, you will not get the best of me, or something like that. I think recently, because of this whole saga, or the whole thing that has been happening around me, in fact, it came very strong on Wednesday when I was doing the podcast, right? It came very strong on Wednesday when I was doing the podcast. I said, I was just talking to God about a lot of things. And he told me, he said, Pinka, just stop. If you try to fight against me, you won't win. You won't win. It's like somebody drowning. I remember when I was learning how to swim back then, my swim instructor was telling us, her students, like, don't struggle in the water. The water will always win. The water will always win. Don't struggle with the water. The water will always win. And so what you need to do is to be calm and allow the water do its work. Naturally, as a human, you would float. If you stay in the right position, you would float. Right? What makes you sink is the struggle. So you're fighting what should be your advantage. You are not going to win. It's like, the whole concept of the eagle, right? So the eagle in itself, very powerful bird, but as other birds flap their wings and try to fly against the I think they still call it the current of the wind, right? What the eagle does is that it just glides on it. It maneuvers using it, doesn't struggle, doesn't fight it, because the wind will always win. Imagine winds moving as fast as 100 kilometers per hour, 70 kilometers per hour. That's the force. So imagine you in a car moving at 70, 80 kilometers per hour. Now that's the wind that is pushing against you. There's no point. You won't win. And God told me something. He said, Binga, no matter how much you fight me, you are not going to win. You are not going to win. That thing that you have called stability, I am going to cripple it. You won't win me. Your prevailing is in your submission. Your prevailing is in your submission. I say it again, your prevailing is in your submission. Tap out. When it comes to me, Binga, just tap out. And that's the same message I have for you, for us today, Tyler. When it comes to God, tap out. Just surrender. Because you guys are going to struggle all night and you still won't win. I think for me this period, God has taught something in me. Like he dislocated something that I considered a major trust in my life. Something that was, even if all things are not working, at least this is working. Hell, Baba has crippled it to the core. And I still see myself trying to, fight it and, work through it, figure out ways around it. And God is just looking, he said, when you're done, you come back to me. And so that's how I got that's how the message of this story dropped to me. God had promised Jacob through prophecy that he was going to rule over his elder brother. Jacob tried to use his hand to make it come to pass, instead of allowing the Lord fashion it in his own way. Literally by deceiving and think about stories like Joseph. I don't know if that narrative is absolutely true, but they're like he went ahead of himself, trying to make himself important before his brothers, and that's what took him to Egypt and all. Well, anyway, that's a discussion for another day, but God still had to work it in his own way. In his own way. God anointed David as king, right? But David had to wait 38 years, if I'm not mistaken. Or, let me not give a wrong number, but he had to wait a certain number of years before it came to fruition. He had Saul in his grasp, and he could have made his ascension to the throne very, very easy and swift. In fact, the people knew, right? Jonathan had already known that the Lord had chosen him to replace his father and everything. So it's like, let me just do this quickly now and get it over with. But then he would have become king on the premise of murder. And that would have even hindered him from being king. See, Tyler, stress is when we do the things of destiny without the grace of God. When we refuse to allow Him chart the course, to be the captain on this voyage, that's when we really enter into rubbish. There are times where I sit down and I'll be honest that I do have regrets. Like, why didn't I do this? Why did I do this? Because there were clear instructions from the Lord, and had it been I had followed those instructions of the Lord, I wouldn't be in the situation where I am right at this moment. And I'm like, why? I sit down and I reminisce over it. I'm like, oh Lord, how did I get myself into all of this, right? Why didn't I just listen? Why didn't I just listen? Submission is a big deal. Submission is an expression of lordship. That I have a will, but I submit it to yours. I put it under for yours to take preeminence, for yours to be the priority. That I am more, my drive is more to please you than to please me. It usually happens in, combat sports, boxing, taekwondo, karate, wrestling, judo. It happens when you have been inflicted so much pain by opponent that you can actually tap out. And tapping out is like, I have gauged you, I have gauged me. If you continue this thing, you'll probably kill me. I don't have energy left in me to fight you anymore. It's okay for you to be the winner. It's okay. It's very nice, right, to take responsibility for certain things in our lives. So it's like, oh, I'm the one that did this. Oh, I'm the one that did this. Oh, I'm the one that did. I remember how I spent my nights doing certain things. Oh, it was because of me. It was because of me, or something like that. It's nice, trust me. It's very, very nice. That feeling is very nice. When it comes to your destiny, especially as a believer, when you've given your heart to the Lord, stop trying to be in control. Stop it. You will weary yourself, Tyler. You will burden yourself beyond anything you can think of. Just stop it. No. On Wednesday, I looked at God like this. I said, God, I give up. Thursday, that was Wednesday night, I just I said, God, I give up. I give up. You're the winner. Just help me. I give up. You're the winner. Just help me. And I told him, I said, Lord, please help me to obey you, because the way you ask us to do some certain things, honestly, sometimes I feel, Lord, you're very insensitive. Like, you forget that we're humans. And that's how I feel sometimes. But Scripture says that we do not have a high priest who is not touched by the feeling of our infirmity, right? But in every way, he has been tempted just like us. And, that's a consoling factor. But I tell God, I'm like, God, please and please help me to obey you. Because I know that the instructions you're going to give will be heart-wrenching and heartbreaking. They would demand so much from me, but I know it's the best. I can fight you and still get back to that point to obey you. All this traveling up and down, moving round and round over certain mountains, going round certain mountains, doing certain things, it's not going to be beneficial, because you'll still come back to the point where you are going to have to obey what you originally ignored. Disobedience only delays your eventual obedience. Disobedience only delays your eventual obedience, especially when it comes to God. So what are those things that you have held so tightly that giving it to God seems like a major risk? Tyler, I want you to give up, because you're not going to win it. Those things that you're contending over with God, Tyler, give up. I announce to you this morning, you will not win. You will not succeed. You would still come back and have to hand it over to Him. I know it's hard, and I'm speaking to myself. But come on, Tyler, what else? What other option do we have? We have tried our way, and we've seen what our way has brought us, right? Let's give up. When it comes to God, it's okay to give up if we're giving it up for Him. It's okay. It's really, really okay to give up. If you're giving up for Him, yes. So that's the context of this whole give up thing, is that you've decided to submit your will, submit control to the Lord, and that you allow Him to dictate the happenings in your life. Right? So, I have a very, very long day. Extremely long day, can't imagine. So I just need to take out time to prepare a little bit for the meetings that I have, and then also work on some other things. But yeah, I should be traveling back either Saturday, Sunday, depends, as tomorrow or next. But let's see how it goes. But anyway, thank you for hanging on with me. I really do hope that this episode blessed you. Please don't forget to share with other people. Let people know about Dear Tyler. If you want to be part of the community where we get to discuss certain things, and also if you want to firsthand, get information about Dear Tyler, our growth, and how we intend to expand, you could just let me know. We've got an Instagram page, right, at dear_Tyler.com. At dear_Tyler. Right, so Instagram, so check out Dear Tyler there. And you could just message me. Also on Facebook, check out for Dear Tyler. You could message me there. If you have my personal contact, you could message me and I'll add you over to the community. If you want to talk about anything, you want us to just, share stuff, or maybe have questions that you need answers to, why not? You could always reach out to me, and in the best possible time, I would respond, right? So yeah, this is me signing out, Tyler. Remember that I love you, I believe in you, and I am always, always rooting for you. Bye.